up, you guys? I'm Charmx. Today I'm gonna be reacting to Hobbies by The Odd Ones Out, and I freaking love The Odd Ones Out. I've been waiting forever for James to post another video. I'm so excited. And yeah, with that being said, the original link's in the description. Hopefully this is gonna be awesome. It's The Odd Ones Out. It should be awesome. But with that being said, let's begin.
Parents want their children to be well-rounded, but the problem that every
what the frig? That's one way to put it.
parent faces is that 7-year-olds would rather watch any video on YouTube than learn how to play the violin.
Sans dancing. I actually really like that. That's funny.
So, how do these concerned parents get their children to be more active? Answer, they force them. Now, forcing your kids into activities isn't a bad thing. In fact, overall, it's extremely helpful. Forcing kids into doing something they don't want to do is the only way we can get them to go to school. Okay, saying that out loud kind of sounded wrong.
Did you hear that? The frig happened up there? Alright, now what did James say again? Kinda got distracted.
In fact, overall, it's extremely helpful. Forcing kids into doing something they don't want to do is the only way we can get them to go to school. Okay,
that's very accurate.
Loud kind of sounded wrong. Doing extra activities, especially at a young age, not only teaches you important skills, but it also teaches you what your interests are.
Technically, you can find that out at any age.
How are you gonna know if you don't like ballet unless you try it? I've tried it, and now I can say with confidence, ballet's not for me. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's had to deal with parents signing you up for sports.
Oh yeah, I had to deal with that when I was younger. My parents signing me up for, friggin' soccer. I remember them signing me up for soccer when I was really young. I do not like soccer.
Instruments and more sports. I think when you're really young, you don't realize that you have a choice. Your parents just start taking you to soccer practice every Wednesday and you think, oh, okay, I guess I'm doing this now. But all the activities I was forced into,
yes.
While I never got invested in any of them, I'm still glad I did them, you know? I forgot how old I was when my mom signed me up for soccer, but I was little enough
Freaking ball keeps pegging him. James, you gotta give yourself a concussion.
for the goals to look like this. I can't tell you how many games you won or how many goals I scored. It was probably close to 0, because I ultimately didn't care about soccer. The only thing I cared about was getting a treat after every game, because I
Yeah, I was kind of like that too. They would always, you would always get food in that at the end of the game. You know, I was not a big fan of soccer, but I always looked forward to the food part at the end of it. Man, this is bringing back some good memories of the food, not the game.
earned it. I know some kids who really enjoyed playing soccer. I forget which video I mentioned this, but back in the day, there was this kid I knew named Micah. He used to live in the house directly behind mine, and we were on the same Little League soccer team. He was really good at soccer, probably better than I'll ever be, and he still plays to this day. Well, okay, it's been 4 years since I last talked to him, but he was still playing soccer to this 4 years ago.
4 years is a long time. 4 years, so either he's a professional player by now, or he's kind of given up. Those are probably like the two options.
Now, did Micah's parents initially force him into playing soccer? Probably, I didn't ask. But if his parents never forced him into it, he would have never known how good he was at the game and how much he enjoyed it. But that's enough about Micah. This is my channel. I don't remember how I stopped playing soccer. I just stopped showing up to the practices one year, and then I never played again.
I like that, yeah. I don't remember how I stopped playing soccer. My memory is kind of like the same. We just decide not to go anymore, and that's it.
And then my mom put me into Boy Scouts, and that was a lot better because it wasn't competitive and camping is awesome, and I made some dumb videos about it. So it was a return investment. Another activity my mom put me in was this martial art class called Aikido. I'm honestly surprised I've gotten 107 videos without mentioning Aikido once. Probably because it was boring and nothing interesting happened.
Well, you can always make it interesting. Like if you are talking about it now, obviously that means that you have made it interesting.
My mom put me and my twin sister into Aikido, and we both agreed that it was boring and we didn't like it. So we decided not to remind my mom
Aikido time, baby.
whenever she had to take us to class, and surprisingly, she forgot most of the time. Okay, look, whenever the sensei was talking, we had to sit on our knees, and that gets uncomfortable after 2 seconds. What is Aikido, I hear you asking? Aikido is a special form of martial arts.
What do you mean special form of martial arts, James? But anyway, besides from soccer, my mother really never signed me up for anything else, at least to my memory. Maybe something else will jog my memory in this. I don't know.
In that it doesn't teach you how to fight. Aikido is all about self-defense and to also not hurt the attacker. You know those
What?
self-defense techniques that are like, if someone tries to attack you, use your keys as a knife and stab them. Aikido is not that. An Aikido master will take an attacker's arm, spin them around, and then pin them down to the floor.
So you just friend zone your attacker instead of being more physical with them. This is so sad.
Now that sounds really cool on rice paper, like if someone goes to attack you, and then you block their punch and pin them to the ground, and you just give them a look like, you wanna take me on, kid? I've already got you pinned down. Now I'm not gonna hurt you, because I'm that powerful. But if you ever attempt to attack me or my clan ever again, I will be forced to use 10% of my power and break your spine.
Oh my goodness. Whoa, look at the detail in this. I've noticed that in this animation, it's got a lot of detailed scenes, because not every scene in it is crazy detailed. Like, sure, a bunch of them are, but some of them are particularly a lot more detailed than others, and I don't know, I like that. This is like awesome. This is like sketch, it looks like.
In half.
Look at that.
And I think my mom saw that Aikido was non-violent and taught self-defense, and she thought it was a better activity than learning how to kick someone in the face. But after doing some research on Aikido, I've learned that it's not really, what's the right word?
Useful, helpful.
Respected in the martial art community. There's a lot of people saying that the techniques of Aikido don't work against a real attack, and that if someone's really attacking you, you can't reasonably pin them down without hurting them.
I guess maybe you hurt them less than in other martial arts.
So it's probably a better idea to just punch back. And some people who are in Aikido think that their style of fighting is more civil and the more eloquent way of fighting, or
What was that? Is that a meme I'm supposed to be aware of?
fighting, so there's a tad bit of elitism in the martial art community. Now, surprisingly, I've never been in a real fight, so I can't really comment on what the more effective martial art is. I'm sure different situations call for different responses, but I don't think I'm wrong when I say that Aikido is the vegans of martial arts.
That's a great way of putting it. That's a great way of putting it. I guess like the idea of Aikido sounds good, where you don't hurt the other person, you just kind of stop them from attacking you. But then again, if they're attacking you and you pin them into the ground or whatever, you have to like stay on top of them then, because if you don't, they can just come back after you again, and they know you're not going to hurt them.
After Aikido, the next thing I was forced to learn was an instrument. My parents didn't force me to do this, it was the American education system that did. In 5th and 6th grade,
Uncle Sam.
instrument. My parents didn't force me to do this, it was the American education.
Look at this. This is awesome. This is awesome. The kazoo. Uncle Sam wants you to play the kazoo.
System that did. In 5th and 6th grade, everyone had to take a band class, and we all chose different instruments to play, and I went with the flute. And as soon as I was given the flute, I traded it with Priscilla, who chose percussion, and that's what I did for the next 2 years. Compared to the rest of the instruments, percussion was very easy on my lungs. And it was okay if we were bad at the instrument because we were in the very back.
And that means you're cool because everyone knows the cool kids sit at the back of class.
The first set of songs we learned was on this metal xylophone thing, but I think the teacher thought everyone was so bad at that instrument that the rest of the songs we learned was on this drum. Just one drum, it looked like this. So while everyone else had to learn face and every good boy deserves fudge and whatever these lines connecting the notes mean, we cool kids in the back only had to memorize 3 notes. A hit on the drum, a hit on the side of the drum, and not hitting the drum.
Why do you need a note for not hitting the drum? I mean, if there was just an empty space there, you would do the same thing because the notes signal you to hit the drum.
Now those are my favorite notes. Drums are so great, nothing beats the drums.
Except you. Yeah, I actually like playing the instruments. Kind of like, I have a guitar at the moment, and I haven't played it in like a month now, so I've kind of fallen off, but I was learning it. I think out of all the instruments, drums are, I don't know, probably one of the easiest. If you can keep a rhythm, that's basically it. That's basically all you need to do. If you can't keep a rhythm, you're screwed. But if you can, then I think drums are probably the way to go.
Drums are easy. So my parents tried to get me to do extra activities, but I never did more than what I was told to do. But that's okay. You should at least try new things, and if it's not something you enjoy, well, at least you tried. Now, with all the activities I did, I still spent plenty of my free time doing some other things. Okay, I played a lot of Neopets and RuneScape, and as much as I enjoyed these games, I would say overall, they didn't make me a more rounded person.
Isn't this a meme? I've seen this before. This is a meme. There's a lot of like meme references in this animation that I'm noticing.
unless you count what they did to my horrible posture. People will spend their free time doing what they enjoy, and entertainment is designed to be entertaining. And while it's good to take some time doing things you enjoy, just like everything in life, it's all about balance. I think there's a very clear and important difference between a hobby and an addiction. If you enjoy playing video games and binging Netflix in your free time, then do that. Keyword being free time. You still need to set time to sleep, work, and socialize.
Yes, I think that's very important. Here's a little helpful advice. Take your phone or a piece of paper and every day write down stuff you're gonna do. So write down your goals for the day, whether, if you wanna work on something, if you wanna maybe start learning an instrument, write down all this stuff and then go through it, and then you can do whatever you want after that. But I found a real good way to get things done in the day is to write it down and then just go through the list. That's the best way to get things done. So, if you're lacking motivation, sometimes you just have to write it down and just do what's on the list. You don't have to be motivated to do it. Just do what's on the list. And when it comes to video games and whatnot, I play them in my spare time. And I love video games because it's an experience. When some people go to, friggin' rock climbing or whatever, that's an experience. Some people like doing that. But for me, I like to play a video game that's gonna tell a story. That's gonna, bring me to a whole different world. It's the experience that you get when you play video games that I really love. But it's very important to have a balanced work, social, and recreational life, if that makes sense.
And take showers. If I can smell that you were just binging a show, then that's gotta change. While I was working on this video, I wondered why it was more acceptable to be good at chess than it was World of Warcraft, because at its core, chess and Warcraft are the same thing. A game.
Well, it could be argued that one requires more thought behind it.
But if you spend all your time playing one of these games and it gets in the way of you being a functional human being, that's when it becomes an addiction. And I would bet you one crisp dollar bill that more people have gotten addicted to Warcraft than chess. And
Oh yeah. I think chess is just more respected because it takes a lot of strategy for it, because you have to think really far ahead to be good at the game. So I think that's why it's respected more. But yeah, anything can become an addiction.
And that's why I believe there's a bad stigma with that game. Also, I don't know how WoW works, but I know in chess you need to have at least one friend. If I could go back in time, I would tell my younger
Looks like I'm out.
self to not play Neopets and RuneScape as much as I did. I would have told me, hey, you should try out other things too, like rollerblading or the flute. Youth is the best time to learn what you love and where your passions lie. You kids have no bills, no expectations, you're not tired all the time, and everyone's telling you to follow your dreams. But not me, I'm 22. My life is practically over. I can't choose any more hobbies.
Yeah, you can. What are you talking about? I've just picked up a hobby, January 1st? I'm learning French again, everybody. That's right. I've come back to learning French. I've set this as my goal. I've wanted to learn a different language forever. And I figured French would probably be a good one to try to learn. So I'm trying to learn it. I tried learning it last year but gave up partway through, so I'm trying again. But nonetheless, it's kind of turned into would you call that a hobby? I don't know.
I wasted my childhood. I'm not saying don't play video games or don't watch YouTube. I understand that my main demographic is people who watch YouTube. But like I said before, it's all about the balance. Trademark. So go out there, try new things, join a club, go on a walk, draw something. I'm biased, but make a comic, write a short story, find a recipe online and cook something, or read a book. Take breaks, yes, but never stop learning. And when you're an adult, you can force your children to learn too.
I think that's really good advice. Anyway, I hope you guys like this video. I think James has a lot of good points here. But then again, you don't have to find hobbies in that when you're younger. You can also do it when you're older, right? Anyway, I hope you guys like this video. I really like this, and I think James has a lot of good points in it, and you should have a lot of balance in your life. Don't spend too much time on video games, don't spend too much time working. So you need to have a perfect balance. Find that balance. And as some side note advice, as I said, is if you want to achieve stuff like every day, try to write your little goals down for the day and go and do them, and then after that stuff's done, then you can play video games or watch TV or whatever, because then you know that you've at least accomplished something for the day. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, possibly share with a friend. If you do, subscribe to the family. And yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Boop.